Dear friends, welcome to complete live demo for Azure Storage account. For this demonstration, we will choose a standard general purpose V2 storage account because it supports blob storage, Azure files, queue storage, and table storage in one account. Premium account types are workload specific and may not expose all four services. I'm going to prepare a small sample file, which I'm going to show you later. I have named it TechBits Azure Storage Demo.txt, and I have added a content. Welcome to TechBits Learning, and I have uploaded this file to Azure Blob Storage. So let's proceed. Open the Azure portal. So as you can see, the Azure portal is open, portal.azure.com. I'll reload it once. I have the credits remaining for this live demonstration. And in the top search bar, I'll search for storage accounts. So we have storage center. Okay, we have something called named as blob storage. So we are now going to create an Azure storage account, and an Azure storage account is a top level container that provides access to Azure blob storage, file shares, queues, and tables. And it also creates a unique namespace for our storage data. And we will be using a general purpose V2 account for this demonstration that will support all the four services, that is blob, file shares, queues, and tables. So I'll click on create. And as you can see, you have the basics tabs open. So we'll select a subscription. Subscription is already selected, Azure subscription 1. And every Azure subscription account must belong to a storage account must belong to an Azure subscription. The subscription will control billing, access, and resource limits. I have covered this in my previous video. We see the resource group. Now by default it is coming as network watcher RG, but for this demonstration we will be creating a new one. So let's create a new one and we will name it as RG TechBits Storage Demo. So this is the RG TechBits Storage Demo that we have created. Now we will be using, so RG TechBits Storage Demo, it's a dedicated resource group so that all demonstration resources will remain organized and can be deleted together after the recording. Now we will enter the storage account name. So storage account name will be ST TechBits Demo 01. As I mentioned, that all will be in small letters and it should be between 3 and 24 characters. So this is how it is. And this will be in the lower case letters and numbers so that it is globally unique across Azure. Storage account names cannot contain uppercase letters, space, hyphens, or special characters. Okay. Now, since we have named it ST TechBits Demo 01, so the blob endpoint will have the naming as HTTPS STTech blob core blob.core.windows.net. I'll just show you over here how it will look like. This will look like this. Okay, but we are only doing this naming convention. So this is how it will look like. We have the region by default Central India. We'll choose the primary services. Over here we will mention Azure Blob Storage, or so will not be using Azure Data Lake Storage. We will be using Azure Blob Storage, and configuration will be according to the Azure Blob Storage. So here we'll choose performance as standard. Redundancy we'll be choosing as local redundant storage for this demonstration. And if I talk about the region, again the region determines where the primary copy of data will be stored, and region will also affect the latency, pricing, regularity requirements, service availability, and disaster recovery design. So as we choose the performance as standard, now standard performance will be suitable for most general purpose workloads and uses cost effective storage. So we are using general purpose v2. Okay, so now for redundancy, we have chosen LRS. So, because it's simple and economical, and for production workloads, the selection should be based on availability, durability, compliance, and disaster recovery requirements. For here, this is a test lab environment. Will be only using LRS. Now, let's move to the advanced setting. Click on next. So you have here many options like hierarchical namespace, enable SFTP. So we will not be doing anything. So access tier will be hot. And what does access tier refers to? So it is suitable for the data that is accessed frequently. Okay, cool and cold tires, uh, they are more economical, but they are less frequently accessed and they can have a high retrievable charges. So for this demonstration, we'll keep remaining options as their default and choose the hot tier. Okay, so let's click on next. So let's come to the networking. So we will straightforward keep enable public access for from all networks. And just make sure in production environment we would normally evaluate selected networks, service endpoints, and private endpoints, firewall rules, or complete public network restrictions. So enabling public access is not preferred product design. Okay, always remember this point. Then comes the data protection and encryption. Let's go to the next section. So we'll leave the encryption with Microsoft managed keys in this section. I think that will also come in the security. I think data protection, and see they have not if they have not kept data protection and encryption. So they have data protection, security, and then encryption. So now we'll talk about the soft deletes. So soft deletes are generally enabled, and this is how it is. So we'll keep it like this. We'll move to next. So again, TLS version is there in picture. So TLS will be by default 1.2, and so the minimum TLS version controls the encryption protocol clients must use while connecting to this storage account. So this will keep kept as version 1.2. Okay, so let's click on next. Now encryption, again Microsoft managed keys. So we'll be having Microsoft managed keys for this demonstration. Azure automatically encrypts data at rest. So we can use Microsoft managed keys or customer managed keys depending on the organization's security and compliance requirements. Okay, and this will be all services type. This will select it as okay. So let's click on next. Now we have tags. So let's put tags as environment. Over here it will be demo. Owner, I'm putting my name over here, Abhinav. Department, I'm putting over here tech bits. And purpose, Azure storage training, right? We are having a demonstration, right? So Azure storage training, right? Okay, let's click on next. And validation is in progress. So almost we have we did it correctly. So we'll just simply click on create. So if you see, deployment is in progress. And it will get deployed very quickly. So just one point to remember. So since we added the tag helps us identify the ownership, environment, department, purpose, and cost allocation. And and since the deployment is in progress, so Azure will now create storage account containing all the four services. Okay, so now it's created. You can see your deployment is complete. You can go to the resources, okay, and you can just validate everything over here. So RG TechBits demo, Azure subscription 1 standard, local redundant storage, whatever we have selected, all those information as default. We have kept default access as hot. Everything is now created, okay, as we selected. Now what we see in the data storage is the containers, classic file shares, queues, and tables. So containers is nothing but blob containers. In some sometimes it is mentioned as blob containers or containers. So now we will click on containers, and let's start creating container. Create a blob container. Okay, so click on container, add container, and name it as TechBits demo container. Okay, this is the naming convention we will follow for this lab purpose. Okay, and then anonymous level is already selected. We don't have to select any encryption over here, so we'll simply click create. So our storage container is created. So a container organizes blobs in a similar way to top level folder. Okay, and since our container is private, so users must authenticate before accessing its files. Blob storage is designed for large amounts of unstructured data such as documents, images, videos, logs, and backups, as I explained in my previous video. Now let's move to the next step. So what we'll be doing, as I mentioned at the starting of this demo, I have created one text file that we will be uploading to the blob storage. So what we will be doing is that we'll click on this blob storage, and then we'll click on upload, and then from the browser files we'll upload that file. Okay, so if you I'm just uploading, you'll get to see TechBits Azure storage demo.txt. Okay, so I'll be check the okay. So here we need to understand some options. Blob, click upload, everything is there selected, container scope. So I'll click on upload. So this is uploaded, right? This is uploaded. So if we click on the uploaded file, it will show, if you see the URL. So this is the URL it will show. So the file is now stored as a blob, and Azure gives it a unique URL. But because our container is private, possessing the URL alone does not provide access. Microsoft's portal workflow supports creating a container and uploading blobs directly from the browser. So we need to click download to demonstrate retrieval. Okay, optionally we can click downloads. Okay, so we click on download and open the file. So welcome to TechBits Learning. This file is uploaded to Azure blob storage. So this is what we mentioned. Now let's return to the storage account. Sorry, my bad. Let's go to the storage account, and let's create classic file shares. So if you see classic file share over here, so click on classic file share, and I will name it TechBits files. Okay, I'll name it TechBit files. Okay, so rest I'll keep it as it is. I will keep it as hot, and then I will create on backup, backup is not required, and then we'll click on review and create, and then we'll create it. So if you see, the storage file is uh, TechBits files is created over here. Now upload the same file and click on upload. So we'll create a directory also. So we'll create a directory here. So I'll name it as TechBits directory. Okay, and we can also, upload this file again from here. Okay, and we can upload it. So Azure File provides managed file shares that can be accessed using protocols such as SMB. Unlike Blob storage, which is object storage, Azure File behaves more like traditional shared network drives. Okay, so for standard SDT file shares, Azure supports LRS, ZRS, GRS, and GZRS. Premium SSD file share supports LRS or ZRS. So this is how it is. So if you go over here, here you can see connect, right? So you can also, if you want to make it as a shared drive, you can click on connect, and then you can just simply see how it can be done, right? So we don't have to go in much depth. Now let's move ahead and create a queue. Let's go back to the storage account sections and queue. Click on queue and name it as TechBits demo queue. Okay. Okay, so open the queue and add message. So message is process customer order 1001. Okay, this is what we will be going to add. Okay, and click on OK. So queue storage stores messages that application component can process asynchronously. For example, a website can place an order processing request into a queue, and a separate backend application can process it later. So remember one point. Queue is not intended for storing large documents. It carries messages between application components. Now let's quickly jump to Azure Storage and create tables. So click on table. Let's click on table and name it as TechBits demo table. Okay, so basically Azure table storage is NoSQL key value data store, and it is suitable for structured non-relational information that does not require complex joins like traditional relational SQL databases. So depending upon the portal experience, entity creation may be available through built-in storage browser or Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, so now you scroll down. Okay, and if you can see data management storage services, where is that option? Do you see storage browser, right? So this one option is here. Let's move to right over here. No, this is not the one. Okay, so there is one option called services. Okay, so here is the storage browser. Okay, so browser, if you see, we have all blob containers. If you click on blob containers, it will show you TechBits demo container, view all. You have classic file shares, queues, tables, all created. So storage browser gives us one central interface for navigating and managing different services inside the storage account. Okay, so all are created. So now under security and networking, so we have an option to select access keys. Okay, so we click on access keys. So storage account, if you can see, storage account includes two access keys, and these keys provide very broad access to the storage account and should be treated like administrator passwords. I'm not going to show because it's a very sensitive information. Okay, and two key support exists because support key is works as an in rotation. So an application can temporarily use one key while the other key is generated, helping reduce interruption. Okay, so and if you see, there's a connection string also. So a connection string packages the storage account name, endpoint information, and authentication key into a format applications can use to connect. Okay, in a form means it is created in a format. Okay, now shared key authorization signs requests using storage account access key for modern production applications. Microsoft Entra ID and managed identities are generally preferable to embedding access keys into code or configuration files. Okay, so this is how it works. Now let's move to shared access signature. So I'll not be generating a broad account level SaaS unless is required. So if you see allowed services, resource types, permissions, start time, expiry time, allowed IP addresses, and HTTPS only. Uh, so what is shared access signature? So it's a it is short form is known as SaaS, and it provides dedicated and time limited access without sharing the full storage account key. So, for example, uh, you can think like you can create a SaaS that allows someone to read one blob container for only 30 minutes without giving them access to the rest of the storage account. So a SaaS basically it can restrict the service, resource, permissions, validity period, protocol, and originating IP range. So it must be protected like a credential and shared only through secure channels. So for blob storage, always remember, where supported, a user delegation SaaS secured with Microsoft Entra credentials is preferable to creating a SaaS directly from an account key. So SaaS URLs are not generally highlighted. Now let's return to the resource cleanup part now, since all the topics are covered. So we will go to the resource group now. So search for resource groups from top again. Okay, and here you have RG TechBits demo. So even an empty storage account may remain as a resource, while actual cost depends primarily on capacity, transactions, redundancy, access to your region, and data transfer. So for this temporary lab, we will be reviewing all resources and click on delete resource group. So we need to enter the resource group name. So RG TechBits will copy it first, and then click on delete, paste it here. So since this is only a demonstration environment, I am deleting the resource group. So make sure you never delete a resource group in production without validating dependencies, retention requirements, backups, approvals, and change controls. So I'm going to delete it now. So let's click on delete. And check it from here, the progress. So one thing to keep in mind here, you know, in this live demonstration, we created a standard general purpose V2 storage. Account selected its region, performance redundancy, enabled secure transfer, and explored all four core Azure storage services. We created a blob container and uploaded a file, created an Azure file share, created a queue and a table, and reviewed access keys, connection strings, and shared access signatures. So the key takeaway is that Azure Storage provides different services for different data patterns: blobs for unstructured objects, files for shared file access, queues for application messaging, and tables for NoSQL key value data. That brings us to the end of this live demonstration for Azure Storage account. See you in next video. Till the time, keep watching TechBits Learning. Thank you so